Hello, welcome to the Monday, December 14th, 2020 edition of the SANS and Storm Center's Stormcast. My name is Johannes Ulrich, and today I'm recording from Jacksonville, Florida, but I'm teaching virtually in Washington, D.C. at the SANS Cyber Defense Initiative, our last event of the year. Of course, by now you have heard about the FireEye breach that was made public last week, and while FireEye hasn't really released a lot of details about how the breach exactly happened, FireEye did release signatures for some of the tools of FireEye's red team that were stolen as part of that breach. In a diary this weekend, John Bambenek is taking a look at some of the rules and how useful or not useful it may be to include some of them in your detection setup. Now, FireEye stated that none of the tools that were stolen were sort of zero-day tools, but they were more customized versions of existing commercial and open source tools. So no real big surprise that some of the detections rules or signatures that FireEye released are focusing on specific strengths within the data of these tools. And John is sort of going over some of the pros and cons of writing signatures around this. What this comes down to is that when you're writing a signature, there's sort of two different approaches. One where you are writing a signature for a specific exploit, and one where you're trying to better capture the nature of the vulnerability being exploited. The second, of course, is usually a better way to write a signature, but sometimes it's just hard or not even possible to write a signature like this, which then leads you to focus on a particular exploit tool. Now, in the FireEye case, of course, the rules that they released are specifically supposed to target exploit tools that were stolen from FireEye. So they're taking more the exploit-focused approach and not so much the vulnerability-focused approach. And on Tuesday, I pointed out that we didn't get an update for Flash. Adobe now released a quick note about the final release of Flash Player, just essentially saying that support for Flash will end at the end of the month, and that Flash Player will actually no longer function starting January 12th. So you got about a month to get rid of whatever remaining Flash applications you have running, and at that point shouldn't really make a difference if you are actually uninstalling Flash Player, but that's the recommended action. And if you haven't uninstalled Flash Player yet, you will see various end-of-life messages pop up and advising you to uninstall Flash Player manually. And of course, once you have it uninstalled, it will be impossible or at least quite difficult to reinstall it. And if you received an odd email with an attachment from the Subway restaurant chain, then, well, you probably were better off if you didn't open the attachment. Turned out that the Subway UK marketing email server was compromised and then used to send out malicious emails. The attachment apparently contained a TrickBot variant, and it will steal credentials for RDP, BNC, SSH, and browser cookies, so it could actually then be used to also break into additional similar marketing systems. Wouldn't be surprised if, as part of Fallout here, we have a couple other companies that report similar incidents. And of course, just like in the Subway case, if users receive email from a company that they somewhat trust, they're more likely going to click on the link, like in this case, and open any documents that are then being downloaded. And Microsoft, in a blog post, took the reps of an investigation that apparently started back in May into AdRosec. That's a browser malware. Now, browser malware, nothing really new, but keeps popping up. It will essentially modify your browser's behavior, inject additional ads, and of course, with these ads, it will often also include links for malicious software. Now, often malware like this is essentially just implemented as a browser extension. This is in part true here as well. But in addition to browser extensions, this malware actually will, for example, change some DLLs that are being loaded by Microsoft Edge, Firefox, and Google Chrome. And of course, you'll find a link to the very extensive write-up by Microsoft in the show notes. Well, and that's it for today. So thanks for listening and talk to you again tomorrow. Bye.